everybody. I just wanted to do a quick video. My name is Kristen, for those of you who don't know me. I am in Heron Hill Yoga Studio in Roswell, New York. And I have a lot of people reach out to me and say that they want to try yoga. And I encourage them to come to my class. I encourage them in any way I can to find some YouTube videos. There's lots of ways you can try yoga. But here's a way that you can try it. It's really easy and it doesn't involve a lot of trying. You can just, every time you look at your phone, sit on the floor. We have a huge number of hip fractures and hip replacements in our country. And part of the reason for that is because we are only going like halfway down to the floor and sitting on a chair, and then we lose that full range of motion in our hip joints. So other cultures who regularly sit on the floor and come up and down off the floor every day, we're opening those hip joints. So one way you can try yoga is just to sit on the floor. Now, it takes a little practice actually, because if you don't do it every day, you'll find that maybe your knees are up here because your hip joints are tighter, and that is okay. That's just where you're starting. So start wherever you are. One thing that will help is to raise your hips a little higher than your knees. So if you have a block, which you might not have a yoga block if you want to try yoga for the first time, but anything that will lift your hips up. So it could be a sturdy cushion, it could be a stack of books. I'm going to use this yoga block here. So again, you want to get those hips lifted. I'm going to turn to the side. You might also find that your spine is a little rounded. And so sitting on the floor, it entails a lot more than just opening the hips, but lengthening the spine and engaging your core. So when you learn how to teach yoga, you're listening to a lot of lectures, historical information, things like that, and it's all done sitting on the floor. So that was the hardest thing, but the first thing that I really had to master was getting the core strength to sit with that tall spine so that you can breathe deeply. Right? So if you try breathing with that rounded spine, you'll find that you might have a shorter breath. So work on lengthening the spine, taking deep breaths, and relaxing the knees down, relaxing and opening the hips. And so whatever way you can do that, maybe you can only sit on the floor for a minute or two before you start to feel your feet tingle and fall asleep. And that's time to stretch the legs out, shake things out, and get back up, right? But again, you've just done a couple of deep squats coming up and down off the floor, which is great for the hips as well. And then over time, if you're remembering, sit on the floor, sit on the floor. Every time you look at your phone, sit on the floor. Your hips are going to start to open, and your knees are going to start to lower. And it is gradual. It will take time, but you're worth it. So if you want to try yoga, that's my very first recommendation to you. Yes, definitely do it. But you don't need a yoga mat. You don't need a yoga block. Sorry, Thor. Just sit on the floor. Get a nice tall spine and breathe. Did I scare you, buddy? I'm sorry.